Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we're gonna have a look at the benchmarking results and the security hardening index of ArcoLinux. I created a script for it. I already copied it to the machine. So if I open a terminal, let me make this a bit bigger and let me try and zoom in a bit. It should be enough. So I created a script, it's here, it's performance-h. And we're gonna run that. So that's running a couple of things. So it's running Sysbench, it's running Geekbench, it's running Linus, it's running all those kind of things. So the simple straight scripts. I've already run it once before. So this is running it for the second time. So let's just run it. I will provide my password. So it's now syncing the packages because I needed some packages to be installed. All the packages were already installed, so you can see now. So I do the uname -a as -r to see what's installed. So this ArcoLinux, as you can see here, and we're running kernel 5.16. So the next step will be the memory usage. So this time it is 676 megabyte. So now we're testing the CPU usage. So the 0.28. The boot time 16.16, 16.68. Total number of packages installed 1208. Not that it's that important, but so now it's running Linus, and Linus is a hardening testing tool. So it will go over all the tests that it's in Linus. So it was downloaded via Git. So it's the latest version. It's always downloading the latest version and then running it. This will take some time, of course. And it's testing all the things that you normally do most of the time on a Linux server. So this is some kind of indication of the hardening, but most of the things that are being set to fix are server related. Except if you don't have something like a firewall installed or well, if you have SSH installed and open, then it will show you a long list of things that you should be doing to make that more secure. But this is just a clean install of ArcoLinux. So yeah, I think a firewall is installed. And all the other things, SSH is not enabled, so you will probably not find those kind of things. Okay, so here we can see that the hardening index is 67. It's good. The only thing that we don't have installed is a Marvel scanner. Firewalls is installed, so you can see that. If it's active, that's something different. So here is the malware scanner like AK Hunter or CHK rootkit. I would install something like AK Hunter and have it run on your system. Let's go up and see what else. We have two warnings about the name server. Yeah, okay, fine. And IP tables is installed, but it's not active. Yeah, set a password for your grub bootloader. It's more server related. Hardening system services, server related. So most of the things are server related. Look here, expiry dates on passwords. yeah, server related. But at least it gives an indication, right? So what I would do is install RK Hunter and enable it, and maybe the firewall and make it active on this system. But 67 is a very good score. I've seen lower. So then what we run is a CPU test, CPU speed test. So events per second. You can see here the number of events per second. Then the next thing, it will check the speed of the memory. So 64, 55 megabits per second. So that's pretty good. And now we're in the disk test. The disk test will take about 5 minutes. So it created files, and then it's gonna do a random read and write test. And this will take some time. But as you can see, this script is running everything automatically. I will do it at least twice to make an average of the two values and make an average of that. And we can do that on all the ArcoLinux systems that we're going to try. So like we said, okay, the ArcoLinux, we have the Garuda Linux, we have Manjaro Linux, we have Endeavour OS and Arch Linux. So those are the 5 that I'm going to test. And maybe after that, we'll do the same on some Debian based. So we can have a very good comparison between the two biggest Linux distributions. And it will all be done on hardware, so all will be done on this same system. And it makes much sense if you do it on one system. So I will let this run and be right back. And when it's done, we'll go over the rest of the numbers. So here we're back. So we have the read speed of the disk is 22.75 megabits per second, and the write speed 15.70. So yeah, pretty good. So now we're running Geekbench. So Geekbench will also take some time, but it's running pretty good. Geekbench is really the CPU. What can it handle? It's a very known one. You see it in every benchmarking video of Linus tech tips and that kind of guys. But it's more on macOS. So we also have that for Linux, so I ran it. Not sure if you will see much differences between the operating systems. Probably not. But it might give some indication on how it handles its memory. That's for we also did the other test, but also the read and write test and those kind of things is more likely being it's more likely being we have to see if this is related to the operating system itself. So the NFS, how it handles the read writes and that kind of things to your disk. But this is more a CPU core test, and it has also to do with how the operating system handles it, of course. But it gives some indication on the CPU values. Maybe you can hear now that the fans are kicking in because this is a very stressful test on the CPU, especially the multi-core. And it has to cool down the CPU, of course. And also, like I said before, I've installed the operating system on my main machine as well, and it's still running. So we're still running ArcoLinux on there with the KDE version. It's running pretty stable. I use this laptop more for testing and those kind of things and making videos for you guys. But my main system is a very beefy system, and it's running very good. So here you can see the results. So now we're gonna right click on the link and open link. So my browser will be open. So you can see here the single core is 1099 and the multi-core is 3098. And the last thing I do is the browser benchmark. So the browser benchmark also gives some indication on how fast things can be handled by the browser, but also by the operating system. So I will start the test here. And as we do not have yet any values to compare things to, I will write these things down, and in the next video about the ArcoLinux, we will see if ArcoLinux has similar values or different values. Then we have something to compare, but at this moment we don't have anything to compare. So I will write these things down in a file, but at least you have some kind of indication, and you can see the hardening index is pretty good. Memory usage you have seen 668 was the previous value, and here we have a value of 115, and the previous value that I saw was 117, so 116 in average. So I will do the average calculations and I will write those down. You've seen now that how much memory is used, how the CPU usage is used. We have seen the hardening index of 67. And I will see you in the next one when we're gonna do the modifications of the KDE desktop environment. Thanks for now, guys, and see you in the next one. Have fun with Linux. Bye for now.